allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, all. I look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A motion
I'll second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Minutes from the September 10th.
Go ahead. Make a motion to approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second. Motion and a second and a third. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. General public concerns? Being none. John's probably,
He said he'd be here, so I don't know when.
can we,
Skip to the next one.
yeah, let's skip to the next one and we'll skip to the next one, and that way the ladies from the CFR can do their thing and then warm up when they leave.
Perfect.
Come on up.
So I'm Corey Keller-Dewey, Prevention Specialist with CFR.
I'm Lori Wallman. I'm a substance abuse counselor, and I provide services here on Wednesdays.
Okay?
Wednesdays. So, I had talked to Peggy, September, if you guys remember from last year, it's National Recovery Month. So it's a time for our nation to celebrate recovery, recognize that recovery is possible, treatment can be effective. And so the White House proclaims the whole nation celebrate National Recovery Month, and then we're asking you guys to sign a proclamation recognizing it in Humboldt County. So I can go ahead and I will pass it if you guys have two of them, so I can pass it down this way. Save you guys from reading the whole thing, to kind of get the gist of what National Recovery Month is. And then we wanted to give you kind of an update about what's going on in CFR and what we're seeing in Humboldt County right now. So as you guys know, we are building a new building in Fort Dodge. So if you haven't been over there, I recommend just kind of driving by and seeing it. It's going to be on Avenue, is it O or M? Avenue M, it's got to be M. You confuse the letters, but right across from Iowa Central, so we know where Tom Thumb is, it's right behind there. So as of now, our buildings in Fort Dodge are all separated. So our residential is separated from our outpatient, our youth residential, and so it's just not really conducive logistically, and our buildings are really outdated. So now with this new building, those buildings will all be together. We'll have more beds for residential, we'll have more detox beds. We will have beds for specialty clients, like maybe if we have like a client that's transgender. And those we'll have two of those, and those will probably be filled up all the time because it's one of the only places that will have that service in the state, really, or one of the only in the state. But that doesn't mean, Lori will still be seeing clients in Humboldt County. That doesn't mean that those outpatient facilities in these counties are going to be shutting down. And you are here on?
Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays, every Wednesday, right on, is it 6th Avenue?
No, it's 6th Street South.
6th Street, yeah, Street South. Yeah. So that's exciting. So this year in Humboldt County, we had 64 clients that were not repeat clients. Because we do recognize that sometimes people are in treatment or they leave, they come back, so those are unduplicated clients. So it doesn't count clients that we've already seen before that come from Humboldt County, and it doesn't count those clients that had already been in our system and then continued services. Because we get clients that are there for quite a long time and receiving outpatient.
Most of those drug or alcohol?
It's all.
A mixture.
So, in Humboldt County, though, is Humboldt still number one, as it was last year, for primary drug of choice when someone comes in? Are you seeing any type of shift?
Oh, I don't know. I see a lot of OWIs for alcohol,
Yeah.
but Well,
They sign you, the court sign you in, or they voluntarily come in?
They're usually court orders. Every now and then we'll get somebody that's voluntary,
Okay.
but usually court orders.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when someone, for example, if you're not familiar with example with the OWI process, it doesn't necessarily mean someone's going to need to seek treatment, but the state of Iowa does require them to get a substance use evaluation.
Right.
And then from there, they would determine whether or not they need treatment of some sort or counseling or whatever. A lot of times, they might not, but sometimes they do. So we're seeing that. This past year, since the last time I was here, it was fantastic. We did a big presentation with, you guys probably saw it in the paper, but we did a presentation in partnership with the Sheriff's Department, and we presented to all of the staff of the school district, so from the bus drivers to superintendent, everyone, just about drug trends and what we're seeing. That was great, both in parents and students, and then we invited the community to come do one, and we had, over 200 people at the middle school, parents that came, and it was one of those like freezing
That's good.
days. Yeah, it was fantastic. So some things that sheriff says, was saying that we're seeing more, medication misuse and abuse, and we're also seeing that in the student population. We do know that in the state, underage drinking is declining lately, which is a good thing, but prescription medication abuse is rising pretty steadily. We know that, and also too, we get this perception that, youth or adults are going to Fort Dodge or wherever to buy these things, and they're not. When it comes to medication, they're taking it from their parents and their grandparents. So we're just doing as much technical assistance as we can for adults, like, treating our medications like we treat weapons and locking them and hiding them, because sometimes, especially younger people, they get that perception, hey, if it's a prescription, it can't harm me, it can't hurt me if someone else takes it. So just trying to do a lot of education on that. This year, we will again be at Taft with all the fourth graders doing the Too Good for Drugs program. And then we also are going to be with the fourth graders at St. Mary's doing the Too Good for Drugs program. Last year, we were with the fourth and fifth graders at St. Mary's because they had previously been doing the DARE program, which you guys know is not available any longer here in Humboldt. So we caught each of those grades so they could catch up in those fifth graders. So they see that too, that they had missed. And we'll continue going. We go every quarter, so we hit all of the middle schoolers and high schoolers as well in the health classes and do a little bit more. Especially, we're focusing a lot on prescription, a lot on electronic cigarette use. That seems to be really big increase. Have you guys heard of like the product, the Juul, Juul? They almost look like a flash drive. You have a computer, they look just like them. We're seeing those increase rapidly. They're very popular amongst teenagers. They actually right now are 50% of the electronic cigarette market right now, that new product. So a lot of teachers are calling, gosh, they're everywhere, what do we do? So doing a lot of education.
They're a lot smaller.
Yeah, they're a lot smaller and they're, unless someone's using them, they're blowing the smoke, they look like a flash drive. They don't look like the big chunky one, so that's something else that we're seeing.
Give them out of tune. I've never seen such.
Yeah, and you might have seen it before, didn't know what it was. They're very discreet,
Probably noticed it.
so, very discreet.
All right. Any other questions, or otherwise I'd look for a motion to...
I move we approve the chairman to sign the proclamation of National Recovery Month.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Corey, do you need both of them signed, or just one?
I didn't know if I can take one, or if you wanted to make a copy and send it, that's why I brought two.
Well, if he signs both, then you can take one,
Perfect.
and I'll have one for the file. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So you get to hit all 9 counties, huh?
Yep. Not me personally, but we will, but we will be hitting all 9 counties for sure. Yep. It's a lot of miles. But, and then we're hoping to get in the new building by spring, but hopefully it'll be nice and we'll have a big grand opening.
Well, it'll be a change from all of the different locations and trying to coordinate the vans and traffic, just trying to move the kids and...
Yeah, and
everybody
safer.
around.
We are now gonna be able to put in all of the safety that the old building just couldn't, so. So thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Yes,
Thank you.
we appreciate it very much. Sorry, it was so cold in here.
Cold, Dave?
Someone laughing.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too.
John, did you get a copy of the letter from Stobie?
No,
Oh, okay, I will make you one. I thought you probably had it, but I will make you one.
unless he made it, unless he said it this weekend, we haven't got our mail yet, so we check.
Wait, Mom, we passed by because
Yeah.
they were cold and
Sorry, no, that's okay.
you weren't here.
I know.
We were early.
Lawyers sleep late.
I do not sleep late, that I assure you. I have a 3-year-old, make sure. So.
Oh, yeah.
Even if I wanted to. 6:15 is the way the show go.
Well, that'll change.
I cannot wait.
They get to be teenagers and you can't wake them up.
That'd be
Then
fine.
they won't wake up till noon.
Don't come home.
And you won't wake up
Yeah.
because, or you'll,
You know what?
be home and then you won't be sleeping there either.
It'll be nice, it'll be nice to get sleep.
Here, I'll give you this and
We
you
can,
get paid.
let you speed read that while she's trying to copy off. And I'm sure you were in here when Greg was going through the,
Yeah.
I gave him my copy.
Oh, okay. And this is for the press here?
So, what's your thoughts?
Well, Mr. Stovey, when he came to talk to you guys, I mean, first, there's probably no courtroom around that there aren't complaints about. So, you know, what Mr. Stovey did is he outlined basically every problem that has arisen with the judge's chambers, the courtroom, the jury room, the law library. So, what becomes difficult is trying to figure out, okay, do we need to make any changes? If we do, which ones? The one thing that I will tell you is the books, and I know they're expensive, but we have a sitting judge here, which for years, we never had a sitting judge. So since Judge Stovey's been put on the district court bench, his chambers are here, or his office is here. So he spends the majority of his year in Humboldt, which is really nice. Because we're 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, driving to Fort Dodge to get stuff signed. So it's nice to have a judge here. But what happens when you have a judge here is he does his research in our law library. So what Greg Stovey talked to you about is the Northwest Reporters and the Iowa Code Annotates. Basically, for most lawyers that are going to be here and the judges, that's enough. That's enough for them to do their research. That's enough for them to look up things during a trial. And, you know, I know you can go up on the second floor and it's a ghost town, right? Most days, you know, we don't have a lot of court here, and there's not a lot of people here. So, you know, the law firms in town, they do their research at their law firms, but, you know, we do have trials here, we do have court days on Mondays, and we do have a sitting judge, and they use the books, I use the books. The other problem is a lot of attorneys are going to do their research on the computer. The younger judges, younger attorneys, especially with electronic filing, where we run into some problems with that is there's no place to plug in your computers in the courtroom. So, you know, when you get an attorney that does everything electronically, everything on a computer, if they need to charge their computer during the trial, probably need a break or a really long extension cord. So that's where we are. You know, yeah, if you go up and look at the judge's bench in the courtroom upstairs, there's a lot of cords and kind of messy. Magistrate Stovey does most of his work in the basement. The district court judges are upstairs on the second floor. Remodeled the magistrate office. I think the magistrate courtroom is probably pretty good. You know, the air conditioning and the fans in the courtroom, pretty loud. There's no way around that. So it's hard to hear if you have court and the air's on or the fan's on. You know, you want my honest opinion of what really needs to be done? If the books, I mean, obviously Greg Stovey wants those books back. I know his brother does too. We get, in the course of a year, about 5 judges come through here. They all seem to use the books in the law library. So, the books, if you bring the books back, my guess is you won't have any problems with Greg. You won't have any problems with his brother. And we can move on. If that's not going to happen, we'll need either a new computer, or we can use the one that's there for electronic filing. We don't have any way to print in there, and what the concern is not, the law library is public, it's supposed to be for anybody, so your neighbor wants to come look something up. They're supposed to come to the clerk's office, and they're supposed to let them in the law library so they can do their research. You know, where Westlaw is really good, or LexisNexis is the legal search programs that we pay for. The worry with that is you have the public come up here to do legal research. There's no controls over what they're researching, so my office's plan is the Northwest Reporters, Iowa Code, and I think Iowa Digest, but and then federal for the 8th Circuit, which is where Iowa is. If you have somebody from the general public searching online and they want to look up a Tennessee case, that's extra, and I'm not smart enough to know how to restrict that. So, and the same with the other lawyers that will come in. The Iowa Supreme Court's fond of looking at other jurisdictions, so if we have an attorney that wants to do a brief, they may come read cases from around the country, which ends up getting pretty pricey. I don't know if it's $2 or $3 a page to print it, plus the extra money to search. And print means like saving and emailing it too. It doesn't mean just printing in a printer. So, but with the books, they can look at the books and no one's gonna take them anywhere. And to be real honest, I don't have time to babysit people in the law library if they're gonna come or teach them how to use Westlaw or LexisNexis. You know, if you want to look up a code section and see the cases on the code section, the Iowa Code books that we have up there will say like theft, and they'll list all the cases talking about theft and a little bit about what each case says and where to find it. That's pretty useful, and that's pretty useful even for somebody with no legal training. And the same with family law is where we're going to see most of our people without attorneys. It's expensive to hire an attorney to get a divorce. It's expensive to hire an attorney to deal with child custody, so a lot of people try to do that themselves because they don't have $5 or $10 grand to pay for a lawyer. And they may want to look up, how to do that. The clerk's office will help them fill out the petition, but they may not understand how to move forward. So, long story short, my suggestion would be we bring the books back, and I think we're supposed to maintain a public library. I know it's expensive. I think the cost would be similar to a Westlaw subscription, but it's easier for people to use, and it's easier to monitor. And that's what our judges are using. In 5-6 years, maybe less, maybe I'd be down here saying, we don't need books anymore, never order another book. Now everybody does everything online, but we're not there yet. It seems like maybe we should be, but we're not. And you know, even for me, it's just easier to go to the books sometimes. It takes less time, it's easier to find, and Greg keeps the law library, so he puts the books in, he deals with the mail, and he keeps it really organized. I mean, as far as I know, and however long it's existed, we've never had a problem with anybody taking books or books disappearing. It's just expensive. And, you know, I think a Westlaw subscription would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $300 or $400 a month. And I'd have to talk to Westlaw to figure out if it's just a general law library or if we need to have it set for a couple different users. The more users, the more expensive it is. The idea was supposed to be that they would use my Westlaw password, the attorneys, but the computer we have for Westlaw really doesn't work. I mean, it takes, I don't know how many minutes to turn on, 20 minutes to turn on maybe, and then you can't do anything with it. So, you know, I think if that computer were taken out, there's two computers up there. There's one for electronic filing and then one in the corner that's supposed to be for research. If that computer would just disappear, that'd be fine. And maybe we can put a printer in there. But even if we don't do that, I think the books, I don't know anything about electrical stuff. I really don't. If you want to have an electrician take a look at the bench in the corner of the second floor to see if it's unsafe, to see if it needs to be made better, you know, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But I mean, I don't know how you fix all the problems that Craig told you about without spending a ton of money. You know, I don't think we need a new courthouse.
Good.
But I think when Greg was here, I think his comment in his letter is showing you how important the law library is to him. I mean, we don't really get a lot of complaints about the courtroom. Like, we have the same two people that run it, Judge Kurt Stobie and Judge Greg Stobie, and they're not gonna, they might complain to me about what I do, but they're not too interested in making big deals out of little things that bother them. So the law library is a huge deal for Greg. It's a huge deal for his brother.
Did we used to have two subscriptions of that book?
You know,
went down to one and we got rid of it.
I would guess when I started, you probably had the Iowa Digest, the Iowa Code Annotated, and the Northwest Reporter. Pretty sure you got rid of the Iowa Digest, and I think you kept the Iowa Code Annotated and the Northwest Reporter, and now there's nothing, and, you know, Greg really hasn't been around, so he just noticed it.
You done?
I'm done. Yeah, sorry.
We did have previous discussion, I can't say when, it's been a while back, reason that we didn't order the physical copies. We've gotten more information, mostly from Mr. Stobie, and you could tell us things aren't quite right.
Big money.
And I'm not asking you to take a poll or a survey, how many people actually use this. We know that the Stobies do, the law library, and I know it's a public entity. Long story short, so we keep it short, it's a lot of money. We have a lot of other things that need to be upgraded over, hopefully, some amount of time. We're talking the computer. You mentioned, yes, it is getting more technological moving forward. I suggest we take the astronomical amount paid for hard copies and put it towards the technology, move it forward, get the technology to work, get the computer to work. I mean, we're going to sacrifice, you mentioned younger attorneys, younger generation, which we know is a little more adept at technology. So it's not really fair to not have a computer that works to do things electronically just because someone are like, well, I'm more familiar with the hard copies.
But isn't the computer basically for the public? Because most attorneys bring their own.
Yeah, but we use the computer that's there from the state for online filing. We use that a lot. The other one doesn't work, so we use that, and like I said, we don't have a lot of court, so Monday, that computer gets used, and I would say every Monday when it works out, but, yeah, and the attorneys bring their tablets or laptops, but we don't have, I think we have a place to charge them in the courtroom, so.
Let's get up to speed with the technology. Let's get the computer that doesn't work, one that does work, let's get the things that aren't there for the technology, the charging and so forth, and instead of the 100-foot extension cord, there's some money to work with, if you put it towards that. I see that moving forward, amongst some of the other repairs that we can tackle.
Refresh my memory, how much were the books?
$6,000.
How much?
$6,000, wasn't it?
They were $900 a month.
900 a
I
month.
thought it was 10, yeah.
Yeah, 900 a month, yeah, it's a little over 10.
And yes, there is a fee for the electronic version, but it is significantly less than that. Is that correct?
I don't know,
I-
yes, John.
You know,
We just mentioned earlier, it was almost 6,000 a year for
yeah, I
subscription.
think,
6,000 and one was 3,500.
So you're gonna spend a
About
subscription, you gotta buy the
9,500 a year.
computer, almost, the books are almost cheaper.
Maybe we better off
Computers
just
are
buy the
outdated
books at
every
this
3
point,
years.
fade into the computer and do some rewiring so they can plug in their own computer.
here's what I would tell you. We will probably have both Judge Stobie's for 5 to 10 more years. And when they're done, I can't imagine a scenario where we have another sitting judge in Humboldt. You know, we have young attorneys, but they're office practice attorneys, and I don't know if they're interested in going to the bench. So when Judge Stobie's done, Judge Kurt Stobie's done, and Judge Craig Stobie, I don't know that we're gonna have people to replace them. Not that we're supposed to, but my guess is that Judge Kurt Stobie's spot will probably move further south, either to Fort Dodge or further south.
So you think our courtroom won't be used then?
Well, who knows where we're gonna be with the judicial district in another 6 or 7 years. You know, I can price it, I'm sure Lexus will give me a price immediately. We can ask Westlaw and Lexus what it would be to put it in a law library, if there's any difference in a one-user subscription, and get the actual numbers from them. But I do think that we would definitely need a printer and probably a separate computer. Just because if you have somebody doing research, then that means the attorneys can't file.
Can I ask a question? Why is that Humboldt County's responsibility to update your computers, their computers? Isn't it the state's computers?
I think,
If I recall, I was gonna get rid of a desk, and it was a state desk, and I couldn't throw it away because it was a state desk.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I
and
bet about it.
half this stuff, I didn't know, I'd never heard that the courtroom needed plug-ins or electrical or the air conditioning. And for 3 years, I've never heard any requests from up there that the room was in shambles. I thought they just put money in it.
you know, we're used to this courtroom, this courthouse, so.
I try to stay out of that courtroom.
Well, the people who are here the most would be Judge Greg and Judge Kurt, Stobie, and myself. I mean, I would say there's nobody else here more than us.
Sure.
So, we're used to this, and I've been coming up here for, I don't know, 7 years as county attorney, and then 3 or 4 years before that. And, you know, it's been the same. So we're used to it, and neither of the judges are gonna, obviously you know Greg's mad about the law library, right? I mean, that's his concern, but he made sure to tell you, well, I've got a list of complaints that have existed for the last 10 years that I've never said anything about, because that's not really how we normally does things. Usually lists a bunch of complaints to everybody at once, so. So, yeah, and then you have the difference between the state and the local. And my understanding is the local is supposed to provide some sort of law library, the state provides nothing. We have judges with laptops that they are given that barely work, court reporters with laptops that barely work, court reporters driving all over, not getting paid mileage, judges not getting raises, magistrate not getting raises. So the state judiciary has not spent a lot of money. Webster County has Chief Justice Cady with an office in their courthouse. They have access to his law library and Webster County's law library. Granted, it's a much bigger county, there's a lot more going on down there, but their law library is huge. You know, you go to Pocahontas, it's smaller, Wright County is smaller, and that's really all the law library stuff here.
Regarding your question about expenses, that's kind of like security. If we put a guard up there, we have to pay for it, the county instead of the court system, which
And
makes
that's-
no sense whatsoever, but...
You know, and, yes, I mean, Story has, they have metal detectors, conveyor belts, and they have deputies that staff it, but they only staff it on major court cases, otherwise it's not staffed. And, you know, Webster County, if they have a big trial, will bring in their metal detector and their wands, and they'll staff it with their deputies, and, you know, we have a trial coming up that is gonna be tried before Dodge, and we're gonna use some of our guys and most of their guys.
Well, I think for now, I think we just should, buy the law books that he's requesting. If we got the money for the 10,000 somewhere.
I just whispered to her.
Yeah, I would have to look, but if you say to do it, I will find it.
Then we ought to have an electrician look at the extension court area too.
I have a call into one.
Okay.
I'm waiting for everybody else to get done.
I'll second Dave's motion, because that's how I feel, because everybody can use a book.
Yeah.
And then we can control the books a little bit more than the computer access.
You know, we can, if you want to reevaluate January, 3 months, but if you want to reevaluate this in 6 to 9 months, give me some advance notice, and I can tell you the difference between prices of going to computers versus books.
We wanna review it before next year's budget.
Yeah, so you can just put that on your things to-do list.
That's fine, we can.
Well, let's do the first, you made the motion,
I made a motion.
so we have a second, now we can, before we have me so far behind.
Yeah, after listening to what you've been telling us, the cost is gonna be $400 to $4,500 for subscription. You gotta update all the computers, printers, so we're still gonna spend $10,000 or more. We can get by with the books, they're more secure, the public can use them. Of course, the computer would be good for several years, but only several. You gotta update it all the time.
I don't think we have the exact facts and figures either.
Mhm.
I mean, the theory isn't that flawed, but we really don't have the hard numbers. Dave's comment to have those before the next budget makes a lot of sense. I still think that it's a lot of money for something that I would say probably not overly used. Yeah, the request from the judges, nothing against them, they do a fine job. This laundry list of other concerns, I think there's some money that we should start taking a look at that, and I believe per the discussion, we're probably going to.
Yeah.
But I'd still like to see that start now, rather than, oh, let's get these books. Yeah, maybe it's a quick fix solution for right now, but I don't think that's the right way to go. I think we're going backwards with the technology, and we're trying to take the easy way out and satisfy a couple of judges, and that, you know, not to be mean to them, but...
Yeah, you know, it's not just, obviously Greg is the most local, right? I mean,
These books are open to the public.
You know...
That's why I look at it.
We have, they're not here, they all are in court today in other counties, but the attorneys who come here for criminal cases, and the attorneys who come here for the custody cases, which are, and the divorces, which are the most common cases that we have here, they all use those books. I mean, they use them every time we have court, whether it's attorneys before Dodge or wherever, but we get the books out, and we need them sometimes for guilty pleas, we need them sometimes to look up certain things, but they are used. You're just not gonna hear anybody come in here to say that, because the district court around in our district is on Monday. And the attorneys that come through here are in court somewhere every Monday. So they're not here, so yes, you got an earful from Greg, but it's not just Greg and his brother.
Well, like I said, going back, earlier we had the discussion, I think Dave mentioned budget, more budget time. We disallowed the money for the hard copy publications. What have we been doing this year?
Nothing.
There was no, did they go to the electronic version, which doesn't work?
Well, there's nothing. So, one of the first things that we did when I started here is we canceled the Law Library's Westlaw subscription. It was expensive, and no one was using it. No one knew we had it. I don't know that anybody knew the password and user ID. Nobody had a clue, so we got rid of that in favor of the books, because that's what everybody was using. So we originally had both, we got rid of, and then we got rid of one of them. I know we got rid of one of the books, I just don't remember which one. And we pared it down to basically bare bones, which is the court cases, that are in the books, and then what's happening to the Iowa Code. That's what we were left with, and that's the research that all the attorneys do anyway. They research the Iowa Code and the cases interpreting it. So but yeah, I think it is not unreasonable to reevaluate this, and it is.
Well, the way I look at it, these guys work for our people. They like using this tool. Don't go give them a tool they don't like to use. There's not a whole lot of money difference. A little bit, we're gonna jump from $5,000 to $10,000 in there. You know, because you're gonna pay for an electronic subscription, or you're gonna get the paperback. If they use a paperback, give them the tools they like to use. We don't tell Ben, we're gonna go buy you this tool, we think this is the one you should use, whether you don't want it or not, but this is the one you're gonna use, because this is the one we want you to use. That's my opinion. That's it, you know, for the next few years, this is who we got for judges. Down the road, I think we definitely need to look at the wiring up there, get it so visiting people, attorneys can charge their laptops at least.
I agree.
For it, so we don't have to take a recess and change batteries or whatever.
Yeah, there's some upgrades that need to be made. And I'd say it's a good discussion, like Bruce mentioned. Really haven't heard much, and the fact of hard copy publication, no hard copy. How come we haven't heard something from you, John, previous?
Well, I do.
You said you use these, I mean...
I use them, yeah.
And we didn't hear anything from you, it's like, hey,
Well, I have these. You know, I learned immediately that I did not take care of the books in the law library. So, whether we're getting books or not, I don't know, because I don't think I'm allowed to touch them until they're put on the shelf. So I guess I never checked, I didn't think about it. And you know, with the Iowa Code, what you get are called pocket parts, so you get these little pamphlets that you put in the back. Those are the updates for those. I mean, very rarely are there new books. And then the Northwest Reporters, you get paperbacks. You'll get like 30 paperbacks, and then you'll start getting the hardcover books. And, you know, once we filled up the law library with Northwest Reporters, and they went out in the hallway, I haven't checked to see if we're getting more numbers or not. I just haven't checked. And yes, I look at the Iowa Code stuff when I'm down there, and we'll read cases, but you know, I still do a ton of research in my office. And that's
Well,
easier.
just saying, it didn't know that anything was missing, so I question how often this is used. I agree with your tool analogy, but I think that it's time to step forward into the future and the technology, and this would be a good spot to do it, so. And like I said, plus we disallowed this, and all of a sudden it just came to light, and...
Well, you know, Greg really hasn't been around for about a year, so he's been busy with other things, so... And he is in charge of the law library. I mean, I assume because no one else ever wanted to do it, but he's in charge of it. He takes care of it, and he spends a lot of time in there. So, and he's quick, when they get the books, he puts them on the shelf almost immediately. And he's, you know, right in the courthouse, just about every day of the week, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times a day. And he always goes to law library, so I just assumed he was taking care of them.
Well, moving forward, we do need more factual information and hard numbers, instead of the guessing, this cost this cost that. Well, is it pretty close? We don't really know. I'd really like to see that. Dave brings up a good point. We need to see that before next year's budget.
I agree.
Are you gonna do that,
Yeah, I
John,
can do
or?
that.
With Dave's motion and Rick's second, are you ready to,
Yeah.
all right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carries. And could you get the actual numbers to her as opposed to when we, so she knows how much she's
Yeah.
digging around for, looking for, to try to cover this?
Yeah.
But she would appreciate it. Then we don't get that look when she walks in.
And Peggy, you said you had called,
Yes, I have a caller to an electrician,
so we can get that covered maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess as far as the other stuff, we can try to see where we can, what we can do in there. I don't know if we're gonna be able to remodel the bench or the jury room, the judge's chamber,
Here's what I would tell you. If you wanted to have an electrician, which sounds like you've already looked into, take a look at the bench in the courtroom on the second floor. That'd be a really good start. If you wanna look at something that would make it quieter, that'd be fine too, but I think just having an electrician look at the bench to see if it's okay, or if there's anything to be done to make it simpler, that would be a really, really good start.
all right?
Very good. But, you know, as far as the desk and the chairs and all that, we would always like new chairs and new desks. But I would put those low on the priority. The chairs in the jury room, we have depositions there all the time. It's, you know, people aren't sitting in those chairs for hours and hours and hours, so, or at least not very often. So, no new tables, no new chairs, and no new desks, no one's gonna be too upset. And these are things that come up, but if you take a look at the bench and...
Safety hazard first.
Yeah, that would be,
All right.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
all.
Thank you,
John.
Thank
All right.
you. Okay. Brent? Is that you? Oh, he's over here? All right. Sorry, we're a little long-winded.
We're only a half hour late, that's all right.
Well, good, 'cause I was late and I figured I missed it already.
All right, discussion and action on possible private driveway, field driveway.
We're looking kinda, we'd like to put an 80-foot driveway for transportation in, Avery Township, section 14.
Avery, was it?
Yeah, Avery 14. I believe it'd be on 180th Street. I believe it's 180th. It's right there where it curves, but if I read it right, I believe it's Florida going this way, then when it curves there, it turns into 180th.
Right here on the corner?
Yep.
That looks nice.
Yeah. 14,
Where at, Dave?
right there where it says Dylan Zog, it'd be on that road there.
Is there a driveway already there at the corner, a small driveway?
Yes, there's one at the corner we'd be taking out.
You're taking the one on the corner out?
Yep. Well, that's kinda, when I spoke to the engineer, he kinda said that's what they would like done.
He talked to Dave in the office about the driveway permit. It looks like he must have sent the driveway permit filled out yesterday to Dave. I printed it out quick right before I came in. I know David said something to him about pulling out the smaller driveway just to the east in the corner, and I think Brent said, yeah, you know, he could do that. As far as the county's concerned, yeah, it's not dug down to flow line, but it's longer than 50 foot, so the county isn't gonna maintain it anyway.
Is this the existing driveway?
No, this is the new one that they already built.
They already built it.
It's already in.
It's already in. The county wouldn't maintain it anyway because it's over 50 foot long. It's the owner's responsibility. So if the county does come in and clean the ditch on either side of it, it's the owner's responsibility to take the thing down to their proper flow line at that time. I think Brent's got a little bit of shaping on either side of the driveway to bring it to 3-to-1s, but otherwise, you know, you cross that bridge, I guess, when you get there, when we dig the ditch out.
So, you have a permit, but you already built the driveway. Is it not sort of cart before the horse scenario?
Well, yes, it is. I was under kind of the impression that the crew that I hired to do that dirt work had filed that, because I was thinking they did it, because they did the 911 for the 811, the electric call. And they kind of came in and put it in, and I was unaware they put it in at the time until I contacted, heard about the engineer call, and that's when I talked to them. They said, no, we have got the permit. So I asked him, I go, I'll file the permit, and that's where we discussed that the 50-foot versus 80-foot, and that's when I lined up this time here, and I talked to him, I go, for the time being, can we leave it in as a temporary construction driveway till this matter got taken care of? That's kind of where I left it with him on it.
Is there a steel whistle through it, tin whistle through it?
Yes, they did put a driveway pipe in.
Okay.
So you are representing who, Brent?
I'm myself, and that's my site, or my project there.
That's to build this site then,
Yeah.
basically.
That's-
Here we go with,
Contractor built the building, doing the hog operation, doing the driveway, same contractor doing dirt work.
Yep, the
Yeah.
same on doing dirt work for the driveway.
so we kinda get back to this, for some unknown reason, driveway situation, hog lot building,
Yeah, seems like a vicious circle.
sort of, yeah, tend to go hand in hand, not that other people haven't misinstalled the driveway, but, so you just started on this, you just must have recently put this drive in, I would suspect.
Last week, I believe,
Mhm.
maybe possibly the week before that, I don't remember, yeah, within 14 days.
Right, to start work on the site.
Yep.
So my question is it 2 inches too high, is it
2 feet.
11 inches too high, is it a foot and a half? or-
I don't know, I'd have to send Dave out there with a spade and find out what flow line is, I mean, as far as how much silt is in the ditch right now.
I'm sure there's some.
Every ditch has got some, every ditch that has grass actually growing in it has some black dirt in there
Yeah.
to get it to grow. But yeah, without going out with a spade and digging it, I couldn't tell you.
And maybe the transit too.
That's my,
Yeah, well, spade is fine, but...
You dig with a spade right next to the driveway culvert and dig down till you get to the clay line, take a tape measure and, 4 inches or whatever. You don't have to get as scientific as using a transit, I mean.
Bruce, wouldn't we like to get a little more scientific?
I don't know how many times we gotta do this, that we get to the clay line and then we have the contractor say, well, I thought I looked at the clay line and
Well,
then
we don't have this issue here, they never even attempted to put it at the clay line, they just
Right.
rolled it in and covered it up. and-
Yeah, feelings exactly.
Well, they didn't have anything to start with at all, 'cause there was no permit. And you said you just recently put this in, and you said something, well, could we leave it there as a temporary? I suggest we get the flow line accurately, like you normally would, correct? Because if you had a permit come into your office, you'd send old Dave out there and say, here's the depth. We prefer, like Bruce says, how many times we have to admit it and say it, that there's a number, and that comes from a surveying number. That way, there's no question, you met the survey number.
And
That's
then
the depth of the
initially,
pipe.
they're signing it, that it was the...
That's the depth of the pipe.
The right height, right...
Because Bruce's clay line and my clay line might be two different things, depends upon which of us is more ambitious about digging a hole.
Is this the same contractor that we've had trouble with and
No, this isn't,
Up north
this isn't,
and over the burn.
JV Ready Mix or whatever it is
Okay.
over west that we dealt with in the past, I don't believe.
So
The
there was,
question is, are we gonna allow it to be used as a temporary? And well, my question is it gonna be brought back to the specifics of, it has to be to the level that it has?
Well, that's what, can I just hire the county to do that and pay them to reset it at what they would, at the depth and how they'd like it? 'Cause I'm just more concerned with the narrow, that road's not the widest gravel roads. We'd like to be 80-foot wide for trucks and transportation, but the depth of the, you know, the culvert, I'd be happy to pay the county to go out and do that to the specs they want. I don't have an issue with that. I'm just kind of more concerned with the width.
Well, really, there's not much sense in burying the pipe in the bottom of the flow line if there's that much silt in the ditch. Until we clean the ditch,
Right,
it's probably fine until we clean the ditch.
right.
That's my feeling. And I guess if you wanna consider the oversized driveway for, like you said, the ability to get trucks in and out without, on a narrow road, that's...
and there is a existing drive that's getting taken out very nearby the corner, I think Dave pointed out.
right on the
If
corner?
that's what they'd like done, yeah, it's like, that would be fine with me. I don't see any...
There's no need for that.
Yeah, no, we don't have any use for it on that property anymore then. But yeah, we just have them take it out then.
What's the chances of us being able to do this before, I mean, that leapfrog's in front of everything else we've got.
What exactly are you guys wanting us to go and clean the ditch and reset the driveway pipe, or?
No, I think, you do it when you think the ditch needs to be cleaned, and at that point, charge them to reset the pipe.
Right, or like I said, it's over 80 feet, so, or over
Or-
50 feet, so we wouldn't maintain it anyway.
No.
And Brent can always lower his driveway pipe at that time,
Yeah.
when we clean the ditch on either side. But we would like the other driveway, I guess, removed. If you got an 80-footer, yeah, it should be enough for your operation.
The location of this and all this, that, and the other, the width is not particularly an issue here then.
Well, it's always an issue.
But I mean-
when it's over 50 foot.
Right,
you know.
it goes back to the county's not maintaining it, the
Right.
owner of the driveway.
property owner
maintains
maintains,
it.
any driveway over 50 feet, the property owner maintains.
So, possibly then, kind of the discussion, leave it as is, but maybe sign off on the fact that it is the property owner's responsibility when the ditch gets cleaned, and the fact that it's probably gonna be lower than that pipe, that gets taken care of
At that
immediately,
point, the
immediately.
whistle gets lowered.
Because whenever you get to the ditch cleaning, like Bruce said, it's probably not on tomorrow's agenda to do that.
Right.
Is that something you're comfortable with, that they sign off?
I'd be fine with that, yeah, if Brent wants to sign off on, I'll get him and Dave to scratch something out on a piece of paper that just says, I as a property owner will, lower this pipe at the needed time when the county cleans the ditch out.
Okay.
Well, and the thing is, that's the way it is anyway, it's their responsibility, we just wanna make sure that it's in writing, because that ditch gets cleaned out next year, and that pipe's 8 inches higher than it's supposed to be, it needs to be done at that point in time.
And you're gonna have to be worked with, for the simple fact, by then you'll have a facility with hogs in it, and they clean it out next week, and you got little pigs coming in, or you got fat hogs going out.
Feed trucks coming in.
Yeah. So it all has to be coordinated, so just don't want you back next year.
Well, they also have the option right now of
Do it
getting it
now.
to the correct flow line.
That's right. So,
Take it out, put it back in where the pipe belongs, rebuild your driveway and be done with it. Then you're done.
then that might not be a bad idea too, since they haven't done, you know,
'Cause-
they're gonna do rock and everything anyhow.
Well, like Bruce says, it's,
What
So
you
you haven't put
did.
the rock over the dirt yet or anything?
Well, I mean, there's rock on the approach there, just so if it's wet, they can unload rebar and whatnot. But, I mean, they're still gonna come back and do backfill and haul rock, so they'll still have the equipment that if you're moving rock and leveling rock, it's just as easy to fix that culvert.
maybe,
I,
because if you back up
It might be
to
a smart thing to do.
the cart before the horse, had you got a permit, Ben and Dave would've told you, here's the depth of the pipe, you would've installed it to that depth anyway, so let's just back up to that step. And then, like Bruce said, rather than a year down the road, and you have to do it, 'cause you agreed to, might be less headache right now to just get it to the correct depth. would be
Save you
done.
money in the long run.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but then, 'cause then would they know how deep to put it, or?
I can have Dave meet you out there today.
Okay.
You're gonna be on site.
Yeah, I was gonna head out there after that.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the private drive with the pipe put at the correct depth, where the owner takes responsibility for the pipe being, or the driveway being, if it's over the 50 foot,
With the removal of the other driveway.
with the removal of the other driveway.
And I'll second that.
all right, we have a motion and a
Pretty
second
lengthy.
That's all right, makes
for all
sense.
of that. The driveway, the removal of the other one, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I don't like to be a pain in the butt, but I really wish that they would do this before the dirt gets thrown in the ditch, and I don't know how many times that's been printed, and then the next time, it's just like a bad dream that we just keep living.
Would it be such a thing that, you know, we'll have to have a driver's license, you have to have a CDL license to drive your truck? You just go to the point of driving your truck till you get stopped and then get the license?
Well, I don't like to make them that mad when they...
Well, probably not a good idea, and so a permit means a permit. I mean, so I'm equating it to a license, obviously. Get the permit ahead of time, you would've had the pipe at the correct flow line, and you really would've been just double checking on,
You've
wider
got an
driveway.
opinion, the contractor had already obtained the permit in this situation, so there's no fault there probably, other than the contractor didn't get it.
All right,
Let's move on.
hopefully we'll move forward.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ben?
You can't come, you're 35 minutes late.
He's used to it,
I'm just gonna start showing up 30 minutes late.
You should have learned your lesson by now, shouldn't you? You
Right.
said that last
You had to
week.
get on the agenda at 8:32.
I called mine in on Wednesday and it was still pushed to the bottom. Yeah. All I've got for agenda items today is who work in the right-of-way permits to Midland Power. This is, boring underground power to a couple of bin sites in northeast part of the county, north of Renwick. So,
You wanna bore under the road?
they wanna bore under the road from, existing power pole
Are they
to...
paved roads or just gravel?
Gravel.
Oh, gravel.
Yeah, they're both gravel. One is at 1525 Virginia Avenue, and the other one is 3185 140th Street. So they're both north and slightly west of Renwick on gravel.
What's the other address, Ben?
3185 140th Street.
So the power's on one side, the bin side site's built on the other side, and they're gonna run it power underground.
Right, they're gonna bore it. Minimum depth for underground electrical is 48 inches, so they're gonna bore it, they can run whatever depth they want.
I move, Mr. Chairman, we approve the work in the right way, but Midland Power for both borings.
We have a motion,
I'll second that.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries.
That's all I had on the agenda. I know I talked to Bruce last week. Someone had called in wondering what, our county crew was doing out on C-49. I guess when those guys call you and they're wondering what we're doing, have them just call us in the office. I mean, I don't expect you guys to know what our guys are doing at any given moment. There's sometimes when the guys are out working that I'm not exactly sure where they're at. But, I think it'd be easier for you guys if you could just push them off onto us. And whether I'm in the office or Dave or Sue, you know, somebody should know what the guys are doing.
It's easy than cutting trees out my way.
Yep, we've got two
Well, I should
guys.
call them trees, they're about 8 tall.
Yeah, they're cutting brush in the road
Brush
ditch.
ditches.
Bode's planning on sending 2 guys out. We're gonna try and tackle 1 township a year and cut everything that we've got in the road ditch. That way, basically 4 years from now, when you come back to that township, you shouldn't have a whole lot.
Yep.
I see they're out blanket spraying right now. I've seen a couple of BMW trucks
Yeah,
spraying
seen
the road
it around,
ditch.
too.
That should be completed at this point.
Okay. And then, as far as I know, that project west of Livermore should be starting next week. So, as long as they're on schedule with DB County.
Question, you know, bring us up publicly, we know the delay on that is all weather related,
Right.
just like any other outside work delays this year. It's,
Working in spring bids this year has not been fun.
it just doesn't work what you're doing outside.
Same with
Put everything back.
Highway 3, same problem.
Yeah, although Highway 3...
They don't show up to work, do they?
They weren't there all last week, it was gorgeous weather, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Let's not equate this to the Highway 3 project, but, because we don't have anything to do with that one.
Right.
But, given the fact that this has been on the books, I mean, this was in a 5-year plan, it was all planned out as, you know, that's the nature of the plan. It's just very unfortunate that it's pushed into a harvest time frame.
Right.
There's not really anything that we as a county can do about that, can say, come back next year and do it.
No, not right now, not for this project.
No.
If you wanna change that, you can pay a lot more and request a June construction, or, well, then you run into guys spraying. So, about the only good time that works with farmers for construction is December.
But I mean,
So,
the question has been posed, obviously, I'm in that area, and we know, I mean, it was slated for much earlier than this, the
right,
construction.
I mean, the late start date for the contractor was last Monday, but the plan was for them to start here in the middle of August.
Right. So, I mean, all things being equal, we'd have been looking at a completion
They should have been, yeah, they should have been done and out of here. by
versus
now.
a start.
Well, it's probably the same thing that the group that was out here trying to pour concrete for 4 months, or however long they were here, taking up residence on our road that had 3 blizzards and umpteen rains.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably at the end of their schedule saying, we should have been here 3 months ago, but Humboldt County was paying, so we're in trouble.
Yep.
That's the same.
Yeah, they're backed up to their next projects, 'cause they were backed up to this, and they were backed up before that. So, I mean, we don't have an option to alter the
When-
timing of this project.
When you let a project through the DOT chooses the start date. And what they do is they usually choose an arbitrary date, like a week after Labor Day, to give the contractor the most flexibility to be able to bid on a whole bunch of projects and shuffle their schedule around as they add more projects, so.
The longer the window, the cheaper the project.
The bigger the window, the better price that you get, because they can squeeze you in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just saying this so that people will understand.
Right.
That there could, and and I'm sure all of us have as much concern of, you know, interrupting harvest traffic.
Yeah, the flow.
We understand that, it's where we live. The point of it is, we don't really have an option to say, do this next year. put it off a year and hope for better weather?
No, we don't. We've got a signed contract and a schedule.
It was a bid-let project?
Yeah, we bid this back in February, I believe,
Yep.
so.
And so, I mean, you just don't have an option, you know, to do anything different, really. And was this contractor gonna do any other projects other than this one for us, Ben?
This is the only one that they have with us this year.
This year, okay. You know, sometimes we get one here and one there, maybe a little smaller job, box culvert job.
But we've got 3 other projects with Rognus Brothers that are all on paved routes that are all gonna hear the
Same
same
thing.
complaints.
This year?
Yeah,
Yes, yep.
yeah.
And their late start date, I think, is October 1st.
So when you said the late start date on this was just recently, what does that mean exactly?
That means he's getting charged for working days right now. I think he's got 25 or 30 working days on this project.
So,
So
Oh, they are,
last week he got charged 5 days, so.
because of not being
He's probably gonna come in here and hopefully knock it out because he's already behind the ball.
Right. So I just want, you know, the public to be aware that it is hugely unfortunate on these projects, all of them outdoors this year, that, you know, we understand it's a farming community, and like you said, there's other projects, other spots that people aren't gonna be happy, and we're not happy.
No.
Nobody's happy about the weather.
Well, if we close the Thor blacktop before Eagle Grove Goldfield gets opened back up, we're gonna have a lot more traffic
But
coming our way.
the Eagle Grove, area sounds like it's a mess over there.
Oh,
it is.
But 17 from
What's the matter with it?
Goldfield down to Eagle,
17's closed,
I know.
north and south.
we're pulling a lot of traffic down through Thor and back in the back way to get to Eagle.
Yeah,
That's
there's,
the way the detour is
Oh,
going.
yeah.
there's a ton
Well,
of
the-
semi-traffic through there.
The one detour that I know of is west out of Eagle and then south.
Yep.
That's for them doing the turning lanes down there by Prestige.
Yeah.
So our roads
That
are
way over
getting
the
beat
state of
pretty...
Iowa.
Yeah, our roads
Your
are
way to
getting
go.
beat pretty good over there.
The same problem over the state of Iowa.
Try getting through Pocahontas right now.
Same deal.
Yeah.
Everybody got the same problem.
Every state's the same way. Ohio and Chicago, we were in Illinois, it's just a mess. They're all trying to do it before the snow flies, so we do what we gotta do.
2 seasons, right?
There you go.
Winter and construction.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks.
And
Gina here, or Linda.
Okay, she's got a stack of papers.
I do.
Need some coffee?
Rick does, he's starting to drift off.
Rick stuff.
Looks like we have the home 2017.
Sure, if
bid.
you're pouring, I'm gonna put your name in the paper
Disabled
this week.
veterans tax credits
And the military.
in the military.
Yeah. First, I will give you all of the new ones that people have come in to sign. We are asking this morning for approval of
Oh, you're usually all right.
110
Thank you.
homesteads,
Wow.
14 militaries, and 3 new disabled veterans credits.
So are those
Disabled.
numbers higher than Ben?
No, just about the
We're
same.
about average, all right.
Yeah,
the disabled, it's still 100% disabled, right?
yes,
I know they're trying to get that changed, but
still at 100%. And then for the cancellations, we have 45 militaries, 136 homesteads, and 1 disabled veterans credit. And the disabled veterans credit person, apparently they thought perhaps they were going to have the property in their name by the July 1st deadline, but it was not in their name.
Oh, never got it.
No. So we're canceling it for that reason, and also he did not return to our office to file his paperwork. So I assume since it wasn't in his name, he didn't return to file the paperwork. So hopefully this year he'll get that
Take those
accomplished.
all apart.
So we had a few more cancellations than we had new people sign up, but usually once the taxes go out, we get a large influx, and we've been having a lot of visitors to our office that come and sign. So once they get their taxes and realize that their homestead wasn't on there, they usually come visit us.
How often with the homestead, does that have to be
Just one time,
one time?
unless you move yourself.
So they're technically new applications then?
Mhm. Most of them are people who have moved and purchased a new home.
See, now you guys have moved.
And I'm still here. I'll make a motion to approve, or do the approve and the disallow the cancellation of homestead, military, and disabled veterans tax credits.
Second Rick's motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve and disallow the 2017 homestead, military, disabled veterans tax credit. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
18.
Oh, it does say.
18, that's why I wondered if it was
No,
a,
really, no. I can see.
we ran a year behind. Okay. So I will change that to 18.
Yep, we already have copies of those, so those are yours to send out.
Thank you much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Sorry we're a little late.
All right.
It was Rick's fault.
No problem.
Yeah, a little chatty.
Nathan's fault.
Okay. I have a question. Last week on that, 2080 agreement, did you see the emails from the other counties that were trying to, for the central juvenile detention? There was 2 other counties that said that they had tried to do that, but there was, paperwork wasn't right. I was just wondering what, Wright County was one of them, and, I wanna say Hamilton County said that there was something that wasn't right, so it was on the county emails. I was looking through those last night. All right, how about the authorized chairman to sign a 509A?
Every year, we're required with our health plan, to file a 509A certificate of compliance. This is from Employee Benefit Systems, or EBS. So we just need the authorization from Bruce to sign this, so we can get it done.
Motion to approve it.
You have a motion,
Second that.
a second, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried.
If you get ready, Frank.
Tomorrow will be 9/18/18.
How about that?
Discussion on action on a draft permit for the Colt Finisher Farm Site Facility ID 70454.
This has come to you before. I received the draft permit from the Iowa Department of Natural Resources. This gives you your 14 days if you want to file. If I remember right, you didn't have any problems with it, but if you wanted to have a demand for hearing, this starts your 14 days.
That's the one on Delaware, just south of 170th.
This is the one you gave us the report that everything was good?
Everything's good on it.
Okay.
Iowa Select's building it there, when they start digging, they're supposed to expose the county tile in there, so we gotta keep an eye on it for that. Make sure we know where that county tile's at, so we're not building over it, everything else has looked good.
Okay.
So if you choose not to file for a hearing, then all you have to do is just let it go. So,
Okay.
is that what I'm hearing?
And they were adamant about getting the correct depth of their driveway, Mike.
Yep. We talked to them on that.
That's good. We're good with that then?
Yep.
Thank you. Approved change in ownership of the Humboldt Country Club liquor license.
I'm going to ask you on this one and on the River Valley Orchards, they were supposed to come in and sign. I needed a signature on file, neither one has shown up. I'm gonna delay them till next week unless you guys wanna approve them pending signatures,
Late.
but...
And they knew that they needed to come in and sign.
Mhm.
They don't come in,
Is,
we're not gonna babysit them, they're denied. We can't
Is
do
the,
business without a permit.
And it's not like it's gonna affect their current permit, it's fine, it's still good, it's just some
Yeah.
changing within the permit itself.
Oh, okay.
Is the country club, is that ownership, are they just,
You have to
The
list the
management?
owners of who's managing the country
I
club.
see.
And there was
board.
a change in a name there, yeah.
I see.
And on the River Valley Orchards, they're expanding their premises,
Yes,
they're
yes.
adding that
Put a
additional
bigger-
building,
yes.
Right.
but without a signature. I feel
Perfect.
very uncomfortable having you guys.
Yep.
Move it
Okay.
forward to next week.
Okay, we will do that.
Looks like committee reports.
I have no reports, Mr. Chairman. Make you happy.
Carl? That's always a good thing.
That's unusual for Carl.
Too many football and basketball, soccer games.
Okay, what week are we in here?
It sounded good until Mr. Beatty said, you know, we're only a
Yeah.
couple of months away from January, that was...
I played with the third graders 2 days in a row last week, Tuesday and Thursday. I went to that floodplain management workshop that they had. Brian was also down there on Wednesday, the 12th, and that was a very good program. It was put on by the DNR. They talked about permits and stuff in floodplains, what the requirements were, what you had to have for buildings in them floodplains, and how you get your flood insurance and you don't. It was a very good seminar, so that's the only thing I had last week official.
Was that in town here, Dave?
It was in Fort Dodge at the library.
And we appreciate you going to that.
Thanks, Dave.
It was class for 30, and I think I counted 18 of us in there. And there should have been more people in there because it was a very good program. If anybody's in the floodplain, they should have been there.
I had an LEC meeting on Monday, the 10th.
I had LEC on the 10th, 7:30, and then on the 12th, I had IDDA meeting over in Pocahontas. That was interesting. We think we got a lot of drainage problems too. You hear about the other counties, which is interesting. They're over there widening a ditch from roughly a 20-foot bottom to a 50-foot bottom.
In Pokey?
Over in, it's over by West Bend.
Big ditch.
Yeah, I said, that's a river, it's not a ditch. But,
Oh.
it's really
They probably
flat.
don't even have anything that can reach, clear the bottom on that, could you?
Well, it's not that 50-foot deep, 50-foot
Wide, oh, okay, wow.
Say what you do, bring your corn out in mortars.
Wow.
Yeah, but I guess it's a real flat area and there, and,
Where are they going with all the
dirt,
dirt?
it's gonna be a lot of dirt.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be an expensive project,
holy moly.
so.
That was
And-
where?
That's west of West Bend
I
somewhere.
might have to go on a motorcycle
You
ride.
might wanna go look at
Take
that.
a look at
Well,
that.
they're just, they've been, some are for it, some are against it. And I think they said they brought in 21,000 extra acres to dump into this thing.
Wow.
So, it's been a big battle between landowners who want it, who don't, so. Every county has their issues.
Yeah. Okay, last Monday after our work session with Ben, I listened in, I didn't get to the meeting, but I listened in to the ministerial food pantry board. They've now changed the hours for the food pantry. Mondays are 9 to 12, and Thursdays are now 1 to 4. They're gonna go with Udmo again, or continue having Udmo running the thing. The numbers are just, really working, for those people running it, and, they're going to start, and I yesterday in church, they were asking for people from the churches to help come and relieve, because the ladies up here for Udmo are leaving up here and going out there and trying to run both offices those 3-4 hours that they're gone, so they're trying to get some volunteers, so know anybody that's looking for a couple hours out doing something, they'd be happy to help them, so that was all I had for the week. I didn't do anything else. Okay, Peggy, you got any in your stack there?
Nope, I handed you a copy of that 2080 agreement we talked about for stepping up initiative.
Stepping up?
If you want me to put that on next week's agenda for approval, you
Good to me,
There's
I'll tell you.
also a couple of emails on that in our county stuff on that program down there, isn't it? Down in the
Stepping up?
Yeah,
yeah, that works out.
that work session. All right. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion
One second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.